from Fabulous Paper Emporium. I have got the best use of scraps that I think I've had in a long time. And it's not my idea by any stretch, although I wish it was. One of my Facebook followers shared this with me, and I just thought it's so super simple. All you need is paper and a trimmer. I would normally say just use scissors and a ruler, but there's a lot of cutting to be done. So trimming, a paper trimmer is really a necessary tool in this case. But so super easy. And, it comes together. It's relatively quick. And I just love it. It's so cute. And of course, I'm still using this paper. I am like beyond thrilled with how much use I've had. So again, I've done a mini album. We've done 14 cards. We've done, I was working on another card, which I'll show you really quickly. It's giving me some headaches, I'm going to say. And I don't mind going through the tutorial, but I really want to kind of perfect it first. So this was one of the other cards that I had made with this paper. And it just folds out. But the problem is it keeps getting stuck. And I've tried making the little panels a bit smaller so it doesn't need the assistance to close. But anyways, this was another like super cute card that I made, again, with leftovers that I had for that paper. So, and I still have not any full sheets left, but I still have enough that I think these quilt cards are the way to go. So I think I am going to be finishing off and I'd done the curtain fold. So really have gotten a lot of use out of this paper pack. And just so that you know, like the majority of the paper packs that come in are, we sell for about $21.99, I think. And that's the 12 by 12 double-sided 12 sheets of paper or 12 sheets of designer cardstock with the cardstock stickers. So that's your general, how a paper pack goes. Sometimes we have sales. So if something is being discontinued and I know about it, if, I get it and I get it on sale, I'm passing those savings on to you. I am not selling them at full price. Even if they're not being discontinued, I won't do that. So I love a good sale as a consumer, and I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping that you guys love a good sale too. So in saying that, getting back to this card, excellent use of scraps. And this it makes me happy because nothing is going to waste here. I've even kept like these pieces because they're perfect for the corners. Like in this instance, the card base is 4x4 and I just used a regular white card base. And I used a little bit thicker cardstock. So this is obviously just like a front panel. So the card for this, because this is 4x4, probably make a card that is 4¼ by 4¼ but totally customizable and so easy. These little strips. So I started with a 1x1 little square in the middle, and I just decided to focus on my little Nomi cherub. But you can have anything in the middle. Even if you have like a small stamp, you could always have that white or a different color. You can do a myriad of things. And then these strips, because I'm a bit of like love pattern. And so these I just ended up cutting, I think those are 3/8 of an inch. These are those aren't a half. Give me 1 second. Let me get my ruler instead of guessing. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so they're the same size. 3/8 of an inch. This is 1/4, 3/8 of an inch, and then obviously the pale pink is a 1/4 inch also. And then whatever I had left over, which I had some left over from this guy, I just kind of put as a corner and done. What I have also seen in the video, and I cannot remember what video was shared with me. I'm so sorry. I don't want, like I said, not taking credit for this. So if I can find it, I will link it in the description below. And she had also put it through a die that had like stitching. So again, to further the whole quilt experience. And she had also put it through a embossing folder. So again, really, really fantastic ideas. So we're going to do two kind of versions of this, both with the same idea. I'm doing one in your kind of typical like A2. So this one's 4 by 5 1/4. So this would be kind of that top layer. And this one is another 4 by 4. So I'm going to set this aside. Kind of went through the measurements already. There is no steadfast rule to what size your strips can be. If you have a whole whack of strips, which sometimes for some cards we just end up with a lot of strips, then use what you have. Like I didn't have a lot, but I've used a couple of strips like this, obviously, to cut these little hearts. And so whatever you have is totally fine, but I'm just giving you the measurements, and I'll give you the measurements of the strips as I go along as well. And then of course I cut my little 1 by 1 square to get started. So before we get started, I am going to grab my ruler because and again, you maybe do with this one. I feel like I do, because if I eyeball it, it's not really going to be in the middle, I feel like. And so I want to do my best to get this in the middle, smack dab. Whoops. I love this ruler. In fact, I'm thinking of bringing it into the store just because, and I've shown it to you a couple of times. At the top, you've got 1 to 12, obviously, but I love this center has 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 as you go outwards. It's just amazing to use for something like this when you're trying to get something centered. So hopefully I have this in view. So I'm just using this as my center point and, going around the card. And then I'm going to connect all these dots. So then I have an idea, or a better idea, of what a more precise middle would be than if I eyeballed it. Because if I eyeballed it, like I said, it ain't going to be in the middle. That is my guarantee. The other thing that you can do, and I believe in this video, the video that I watched, the inspiration for this, she covered this with double-sided tape, or like a thick double-sided tape. You can absolutely do that. If I had done that, probably would have been in a world of frustration, because, I like the flexibility of the liquid glue. So it's, again, completely up to you. If you are pretty bang on when you put it down and you're okay with it being a little bit off, then that's totally fine. But there were some instances where I had to kind of push to, butt up the edges. Here, I didn't do such a great job. There's a little bit of a space there, but it is what it is. And as I go through this video, there's going to be a lot of repetition. So a lot of it, I'm probably going to fast forward, but I'm going to go through the first few layers with you, and that way you get a good sense of what's needed. But I'm pretty sure you'll be able to manage. So I've got my liquid glue ready to go. I'm going to slap some glue on the back of my 1 by 1, and then I'm going to place it in the middle as much as possible. There we go. And if you have some seepage, again, not worried about it, because I'm just going to cover the entire thing with glue, or with paper, with glued on paper. You get what I'm saying. And then it's just a matter of deciding what you're going to go with next. So you don't need them to be incredibly long, because you are going to have some bits that you're going to trim off, which is fine, because what I ended up doing here is I didn't have to cut any new strips. So the strips that I had cut for around here, my initial little box. So this is a strip, this is a strip, that's a strip, and that's a strip. Sorry, my crafting puppy dog is wanting some attention. Anyhow, so all of these were just strips, and this was a continuation. So I only used, I had 4 strips initially, and then 4 strips and 4 strips. So, you know, I just kept on using the same strips over and over and over again. So that's the beauty, again, with this card. You're using scraps to make your scrap card. Like, it's just insane. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lining this up with kind of the edge. So this part is all lined up. I flip it over. This is not the side that I'm going to be, or is it? Because I know on one of them I was going to, no, it's not that one. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over to the back side. Sorry. I've had so many ideas floating around my head. I cut so many pieces of paper. I'm just going to do a bit of a pencil line. Now, one thing to note, when you're putting your glue on, as soon as you flip it over, that's obviously not going to go the right way. It does give me a guide, though, for where to put my glue. So I put the glue to the highest point. So you can see, hopefully, the mark there. And then I go the opposite way. So I kind of do like an X with my glue. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyways, that worked for me. And that way you don't want to have all this all gluey, because, you know, then you're just going to apply more glue to it, and, you know, it's going to glue to your workstation, and it's just going to be a hot mess. So we're going to keep doing that. And I will give you, I'm going to fast forward through this first little bit, and then I'll slow it down when I get to the next row. Okay, so now that we have our first layer done, you can, if you want to, keep your area nice and tidy and trim it all up. I usually do a few layers. I'll probably go, because I'm going to do something very similar to my original sample that I showed you. And that is going to be, I just use 3 different shades or 3 different colors. And I'm probably going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to do a wide strip. And then I think for this one, I'm then going to do this thinner one. And then I'm going to cut, excuse me, frog in my throat. And then I'm going to come back in and use something that is a little bit thicker. So either this side, nope, definitely not going to use the black polka dot. So probably going to use this side for that one. And just using those strips, I probably, I might be close, but I probably, hopefully will have enough space left over to continue on using the same strips, and I won't have to cut anymore. So I'm going to continue on doing that. If you are wanting to know, these ones are 3/8 of an inch, these strips. My next strips that I'm going to use, which are these ones, these are 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to go back to the 3/8 of an inch. Anything larger than that, I don't feel you're going to get a really good quilt effect. So unless you're doing a bigger base, in which case, go nuts. Absolutely. If you're doing a really nice big card, then by all means, you can go up to probably about a 1/2 inch, possibly. Anyways, I'm going to continue on with this. So I'm going to fast forward, and I will catch up as soon as I'm done. Okay, so now that I've got kind of the base going on, I've done my 3 strips all the way around, my 3 layers. I'm just going to turn the card around, and I'm going to trim from the back. It gives me a better vantage point of where that base cardstock is. And I'm going to trim on all 4 sides. This is also why you don't really want glue kind of seeping out the back, because you'll get your scissors all gummed up. And you can see it's already taking form. I think I made a little bit of a mistake, but nobody's going to notice it. I don't think I meant to use this paper, but it's working, so I'm going to go with it. And so all I'm going to do is hope that these are the pieces that I trimmed off. Looking for the other pieces that I trimmed. What's on the other side of that? Oh, that. Okay, so that piece, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 pieces here. Hopefully, I don't know if these ones won't fit, so I'm going to have to use either a different one, or I already have pieces cut. We don't have to continue on that same vein. I could just keep on switching it up so that we're not using the same paper ever twice on here. That is an option, and I think that is the option I'm going to go with. That is the option I choose to go with. So see, like it is so flexible, this card. Do it however you want to do it. So I'm going to continue on. And then when I get to the end, we'll discuss what we're doing for our second style, which I haven't done yet. So I don't have a sample to show you, but I'm excited to give it a try, because one of my favorite patterns, in fact, when we were doing our kitchen reno, we did our floor in a herringbone pattern. So that will be kind of herringbone inspired, or chevron. So I do like that pattern very, very much. So I'll be using that. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. Once this is pretty much completed, I'll come back and join you. Pattern. So I think that now I'm getting to the ends. I'm going to trim this off again. So again, flip over. Oh, I got glue on that. Yuck. No, I'm switching to my not good scissors, because I know I'm going to get glue on these now. I have some scissors that I'll use for kind of anything. So these will open boxes and all sorts of other things, just because they're really like floppy, because I don't know, my husband explained it to me, but there's something that's broken. Anyways, doesn't really matter. So now that I'm kind of towards the end, I know that these pieces will fit. So I'm going to stick these on and then figure out what I'm going to do for the corners. Maybe might do some of the black, I'm not sure, but then I just wanted to stop it here just to kind of show you what it was that I was doing. And to also make sure that these will all be totally fine. Okay. So now that I'm getting close to, well, I'm at the end and just doing the corners, here's where I just kind of apply the glue to the corner and then set these in. And if it's one that you have already used and has that angle cut, you can line it up totally with the end of the cardstock, your base. I tend to run it past just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's completely covered. So I'm going to just get these pieces down really quickly. And then we'll be done our first card. Well, at least the first card topper. And you can easily do these well in advance, and then as soon as you feel like you have a card that needs to be done, pull one of these puppies out. All you have to do is, cut your card base, put your sentiment on the inside, and you are literally done. So there's not much fuss that needs to happen. And I don't know what happened to my last piece, but since I have plenty left over, oh, I got a little bit of glue on that. That's okay. Oh, come on. I just naturally want to reach for these scissors all the time, and I just have one corner left to do. Okay. Perfect. So the other last corner, and we are done. There we go. So this is our first. So this one is a whole lot busier, I am realizing now, than this one is. Because I kind of went with the, you know how when you have designer paper, there's usually one side that has a lot of big pattern. So you'll have like this side, and then the other side to this will be like this, which is almost like a tone on tone, or this grid pattern, or this another small tone on tone, the pale pink. So this, I feel, maybe works a little bit better, but this truly looks like a quilt still. So it's just a little bit busier, that's all. So I am going to next move on to this one, which is, again, the 4 by 5 1/4, I believe. Yeah, 4 by 5. 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Oh, wait, I do need to get this in the middle, because again, I'm going to need to make a quick pencil mark at the bottom, quick pencil mark at the top. Why doesn't it look like it's in the middle? Pretty sure it is. It's not. That's why. I don't know what I was thinking. Thankfully, my eyeballs did not deceive me. Well, they did the first time, but I'd done the pencil mark at a really weird mark. All right. Which one's which now? That one's it. Yeah. Okay. And again, the only reason why I'm doing this pencil so I can kind of get a good idea as to where the center is. And this way I'm not way off. But again, it's a quilt card. So, you know, again, you do you. If you wanted to do a bunch of them in this direction and then start and kind of fill in the page that way, that will work too. I've tried one like that. I have no idea where I put it because I don't think I actually finished it. So I'm not going to worry about that one right now. So I just realized I'm going to have to cut myself a few more strips, but then I will be right back. Okay, so we are ready to go with the chevron herringbone pattern. And so I've cut out three different patterns. So I've got this turquoise, teal kind of, I don't know, check. It's got little white lines. I've got this tone on tone, the darker pink, and then this gingham plaid in the pink, white, and darker pink. So what I've done is you just really want to find kind of that center point. And I found the easiest way to do that is I'm lining up the bottom corner here with my center line. And then this piece is going to fall right there. And this way the inside point and the top point are going to line up. And like, I mean, when I say line up with the line that you've drawn. So we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing as what we did before, in that I'm just going to leave that there to get started. Pencil there. I'm going to mark myself where I want to glue to approximately. Again, kind of do the same thing really applies for this one too. Anything goes really. So the top point that I have here is pretty much, it's a little bit off, but pretty much in line with my pencil. That's just a guide anyways. And then I'm just going to flip this over, have that butt up against the one that I just put down. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. There's really, once you have kind of the pattern figured out, the rest is pretty easy. Just make sure that's really nicely flush with that. And so that's the basic start to your chevron pattern. And I'm going to keep going back and forth. So now that we have our base kind of laid, now it's just a matter of this kind of lines up. I put this one up first, and then the next one is going to come along. So again, I'll continue this for a little bit, and then I don't know if I actually have enough cut, but we'll see if we have enough to get this base, or sorry, this top done, and then I can show you what they both look like. Let me make sure I get that. Oh, and I see that one is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that to move, because it really has been. It's not like it dries instantly, but it does dry pretty quickly. So I think that one is just in position. It is what it is. There's a little bit of white. If I find a pencil crayon that maybe is the same color, maybe I will color that in a little bit, but it's not not bothering me all that much. Besides, you can easily just have like a little quick sentiment that goes across there, and you're done. Like, it's hidden. It's not a big deal. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in, feels like I've got two pieces here. Nope, it's just one, I guess. Sometimes I forget how thick this paper is, which is not a bad thing. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my plaid, or gingham, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. I think one of the most common quilt, well, maybe it's not the most common, but the one that I think of when I think of quilts is the pinwheel. I think that's what it's called, pinwheel. Anyway, super cute. But that, I think, is a lot of triangles. So I may look into that and see what it might take. It could easily be just, you know, if you have squares, then you can cut them into triangles just by slicing them in half or in quarters and get your pinwheel done that way. That's certainly a possibility. Oh my goodness. What on earth? There we go. Got that one to move. So again, now that we're getting kind of towards the end of our card, I am simply going to put the glue onto the base, and this way, you know, because it gets done fairly quickly from here on out, so I feel like there's no point in kind of doing the measure and cut and all the rest of that jazz. So almost done here. Unfortunately, I've got like an itty bitty piece. I really, what I should have done, and I did think about it later, is let me just trim off these bits and I'll show you exactly what not to do. It is totally like fixable, but it means extra work. So figure, why not? Okay, what I should have done up here is I should have pulled this piece all the way up. And even if it kind of threw off the pattern a little bit, it would have completed that little part without me having to kind of figure out now what to kind of do with it. So, and then I have an itty bitty piece right there. So I've got like two really itty bitty pieces. I do have plenty of itty bitty pieces on my table. So now it's just a matter of figuring out what itty bitty pieces are going to go where. So let me, I'll clear off that. That is a piece Boop. I don't even know if that's small enough to go there. Yeah, just a bit, barely, almost, right there. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue and a little bit of glue. And I'm going to stick this one right there. Hopefully that stays. I feel like once the glue is dry, it is totally going to be fine. And then I'm going to put this one here. Yep, that glued more to my work surface than it did to the paper because it's so small. Yeah, I might come back and color those in because I'm not confident, especially with this corner one. It is so small. Oh, I did it. Okay, so there we have our lovely chevron. Now I've got more mess to clean up, but that's okay. Our lovely chevron pattern. And I, by the way, very happy with my little fussy cutting bits here. I think I'm going to probably put my nomies on the front, although they are still, oh, you know what? You can easily put them on like this. So I think I might put them on there. I don't know. It looks very busy, I think, with them on, so I may just do something else. Just a quick little sentiment on white cardstock with black base, just to kind of really let it pop. Something along those lines, or even just, you know, stamp the word love, like right on here. See how that works. So here are my quilt cards for today. We've got the 2 4x4s and then the 4x5 1/4. Easily go on a card base, which I don't have any really handy. Well, I'm going to use the back of this one. This is a card that I kind of messed up on, but I'm not going to throw it away because I don't do that. But this is what you could easily use. So that fits nicely, has a nice border around it. There's a lot of interest. You can use it either way, up, down, depending on what your style is. But so versatile, so versatile. I love this technique. I'm probably going to use it for the rest of this paper packs until it's done, because I have little bits and pieces left over. Just to give you an idea, this is the dregs of what I have left from this paper pack. Of course, I got more off to the side that I've cut into little pieces. And so yeah, so this is these are perfect for a quilt card. Perfect. I didn't, you know, from the curtain fold that we did, I still haven't thrown these pieces away because I know they could be used for something. So anyhow, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you take some of what you learned today. Hopefully I've shown you and you like it. And you decide to make your own. And if you do, go to our Facebook page and share it, because I'd love to see what you create. That would be fantastic. So thank you again for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, because you never know when I'm going to come out with a new video. I do try to come out with a couple of videos a week. Just kind of depends on how life is going. And so all of the items that I've used today, so namely this Tulla Norbert Love Story, is linked in the description below, as well as all the sizes that I've used, all the measurements. And so, yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. Give me a big old thumbs up if you have. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get reminded anytime I post new videos. Thank you so much for everything. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.